Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master. Welcome, Magic friends. We are here with Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show where you first brew your coffee, we talk magic, and then we brew your decks and give comments on them. If you need to take your deck to the next level, fix the mana base, fix the creatures, fix your win condition, figure out how to beat your current meta game. Oh yeah, you bring it over here and we'll give the feedback. This is the morning show where we love to discuss magic, all things Magic the Gathering, all topics, and we have a lot of fun on this show every single day. And if you want to join the show, if you want to join the show live, because we do like to do this live, you can show up at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG, and we are here Mondays to Fridays, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time to 10, around 10ish a.m. Central Standard Time. So come on down, be part of the live show, just like Panch Hernandez. Good morning. Congrats on the 5-0 list with Simic Merfolk. Thank you very much. Also, my first 5-0 with Simic Merfolk. I mean, I've got published in the Modern Challenges a few times now, but I had a million 4-1s with the Simic list and no 5-0. So I'm glad I'm finally starting to pull up some 5-0s with all those other things. Gadmater did a neat video about chess mouse slips that's very similar to Magic the Gathering online mistakes. That's interesting. I should check that out if no one knows. Gadmater is I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know if he ever pronounces his name in his videos. Is a really big chess YouTuber. Usually just reviews games, but interesting that he did something on the chess mouse slips. Satamane, good morning. Good morning, Mike the mailman. Yes, it's a good morning. I got another 5-0. We're putting more published results for Merfolk than ever before. Good morning, Grim Ducky. Do you think Simic Copter list is good against humans? Yes, I do. I do think so. Honestly, probably it's better without the Copter because, especially against humans, you don't really want to be tapping your lands down. And I don't think Copter actually is that good of a blocker because either, ideally, you're only trying to block Mantis Rider, right? So let's get Mantis Rider. So ideally, you're just trying to block this big creature. I can have your question here. Ideally, you only want to block this big creature with Smuggler's Copter, but either it's going to have Exalted through Noble Hierarch, or it's going to have a counter from Thalia's Lieutenant. So actually, I do like Simic versus humans a lot because you are lower on the curve, you have more power, everything is great. Commander Speaker, very good in that matchup. But Smuggler's Copter, awkward. Not bad, but not good. I would prefer more interactive cards like Harbinger of the Tides, basically. But I will take any Simic list over any mono blue or, basically mono blue list. Don't know about blue white. Maybe not. Good morning, Niels Nielsen. Good morning, Bellata. Good morning, El Rodeo San. And Bellata has cheered with the 4 bits. Thanks for the 4 bits, Bellata. It's time to celebrate. Confirm Copter is our Mantis Rider. Yes, it is our Mantis Rider. Bellata cheered another 3 bits. Just spreading it around. Good morning, Kyoka620. Corgo 3? I don't know what that means. Getting Zendikar Rising early access? Nope. I never. Okay, well, first off, I'm not on the content creator program. I applied, but they never got back to me. And it's not that they are refused. Like, if they refuse you, then they send you an email. They haven't sent me anything. I get the sense that the content creator program does not have the manpower whatsoever to carry out this program, because what it sounds like to me is like content creators apply 6 months ago and they still haven't heard anything about it. Now, that being said, when I was part of the program, because I was part of the old program, I was never part of these early access things because I just don't really care. I just want to play Merfolk. I just want to play Modern. All right, I don't need early access to those things. It's not that important to me. I get to whatever. If a lot of people want to play with a bunch of janky weak cards, good for them. They can do it. The views and the new audiences. But well, first off, I don't think I get that many views. I'm doing very well for views on my own, and I also don't know if I'm going to attract the right audience, because I want to attract people who play Modern for the most part, or non-rotating formats. Or I wanted to attract people like everyone here who wants to talk Magic in the morning. Maybe that would actually grab some people that I didn't grab before, but I don't know if it's going to be done through gameplay content. Yeah, the exposure from that stuff is grossly overrated. Now, if they gave me some sort of premier early access to Merfolk that I can play in Modern, then that could be worth something. That could be worth something. Mike the Mailman, in control decks, is it better to have narrow, more efficient removal or more expensive catch-all spells? It sounds like, for the most part, like I mean, I'm not a control player, but if you look at a control deck, they like to have sprinkles of everything. It's never like 4 of this, 4 of this, 4 of this. They're not looking for consistency, but they are looking for cards with a lot of overlap. You know, Spell Snare can counter many spells, but not everything at 1 mana. Lightning, maybe the only narrow one they have is like Path to Exile, if we just talk about like a Bant deck. But there's a lot of control decks. They just try to play a little bit of everything. They've got Mana Leak. That can counter a lot of things, but not unless you have too much mana. And then they'll have they might have a Dovin's Veto. Will definitely counter things, but only non-creature spells. And so you sort of see so what I see in control decks is they like to have cards that will, like, for example, I like to play Relic of Progenitus over Grafdigger's Cage for the most part right now. It can do a similar thing, but I really just want Relic. Whereas a control player might be like, oh, I want 1 Relic, I want 1 Grafdigger's Cage, I want this a little bit. They try to have cards that do similar things but can cover almost everything. That's just how I see it. For the most part, they don't want too much expensive stuff. Otherwise, they're going to get tempoed out, especially in an aggressive metagame. Unless the metagame is really clunky and slow. So that can happen in Standard. I hope that helped. I don't know. Like the format matters too. Like in Standard, for example, where there may not be many decks to make a control deck against, you could have 4 ofs all around because it's because you know exactly what you have to face. So you could have 4 ofs, and also there's not as many cards available. Whereas in Modern, you need to have sprinkles of everything. Or that is one strategy that is pretty popular. Do you think Historic is going to take over Pioneer? No, I think they're going to be separate formats, especially on MTG Arena. Like, so let me re-explain my position on Historic. Historic is going to be, in the long run, Legacy on MTG Arena. Not the exact Legacy we know in Legacy on Magic the Gathering Online, but basically effectively Legacy. There's going to be a point where they'll probably like they'll put Pioneer on MTG Arena, they'll put Modern, but in addition to that, then they're going to start putting all like the key important Legacy cards, not all of them, because they don't need to program all the garbage from Arabian Nights and like the Dark and Homelands and like there's tons of draft garbage that they don't need to program. You know what I mean? So in the long run, it's going to be Legacy. So, but we're right now at a position where it's looking a little bit more like Pioneer, because it doesn't have all the Pioneer cards, but there is going to be a point where Historic reaches to a point where it's like Pioneer, and then as it adds more cards, it looks like it's competing with Pioneer, but really it's trying to get to this point where it's Legacy. You know what I mean? So right now it's getting to a point where it looks like it's competing with Pioneer, but eventually it's just going to have a larger card pool than Pioneer, and then one day it's going to look like it's competing with Modern, but then it's just going to have a larger card pool than Modern, and it's going to become its own thing. That's how I think Historic is going to be in the long run, basically. Historic versus Pioneer, 20-minute YouTube video waiting on you. All right. I mean, I think I've talked about this on Coffee and MTG before, though. Oops. Okay, hold on. Let me just edit where we are right now. We are live in Magic. We talk magic. We like talking about magic here. Magic is great. Finally catched another Coffee and MTG. Hello again, Fish Fam. Hello, Awer Lion Soul. We got a 5-0 yesterday. Feels good. Yes. Merfolk moving up. I mean, I'm not the only one making 5-0s here. Like Lord Magicus just recently got a 5-0 with innovative Allura deck. Who else? I think Motown had a 5. We actually have Merfolk Joe is doing a really good job categorizing and cataloging, recording all the Merfolk results that we've had lately. So we're doing pretty well. And truth be told, like we do have some free wins right now. I get a sense like against Uro decks, if you just have a Merfolk deck with Cavernous Souls, that's enough to beat like an Uro deck a lot of the time. M. Hayashi also has had 5-0 yet. That's correct. Jundicide got their first 5-0. But what with oh, I just noticed my genes are ruined. Oh, that really sucks. But was it with Jund? And yeah, I think M. Hayashi also got a 5-0, absolutely. Top 5 upcoming archetypes in Modern. Well, I sort of tried to do that with the underrated like decks, like the 3 decks that were like had surprise value. I think for the most part, like anything that's an upcoming archetype is just an archetype at this point. It's hard to tell exactly what's going to stick and break through in the end. Are you getting the Zendikar fetches? The artwork is amazing, or will you wait till Horizons 2? I don't really have a big need to get fetch lands, so I'm not getting any of the fetch lands. As a Merfolk player, I don't need many fetch lands if I ever even need to play with fetch lands, and I can play with like any blue fetch lands at all. Mikey J 100 with the 4 months in a row. Thank you very much, Mikey J. Really appreciate it. I hope you all like the morning show. Let's see. Ugly Hood Rat. Will they merge between Pioneer and Historic? No. No, like I said, Historic is going to be its own thing. It's going to be Legacy. And it's just on a path right now. And it looks like a lot of people are debating, what's the point of Historic and Pioneer? Because it's on a path. And right now, on the way to get to here, it has to slowly add cards, and yeah, it starts to blur. It doesn't look like Standard anymore. Now it's starting to look like Pioneer. Now it's not looking like Pioneer anymore. It's starting to look like Modern, and then it's going to be its like own form of Legacy, where I don't know what cards they're going to put in there. In my opinion, this is my speculation. Morning, I've been trying to make new Narset good, but I'm afraid she sucks. How do you go about building around her? See what new Narset... I don't even know what the new Narset looks like. Which Narset? I think this is the newest one. Wow, that's such a high kick. It's sort of blocking the mana cost. All right, so +1, you gain 2 life, and you can add 1 of Jeskai Collars. Spend this mana only to cast non-creature spells. That sucks. Draw a card. The -2 is draw a card, then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. You can't even target opponents. -6, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. The emblem is good. Everything else blows on this card. You gain 2 life. Well, you know what? The +1 is not too bad. You gain some life, but it's not great. The -2 is terrible. You have to like throw away a good card when you could just probably cast it. Anyway, I would whatever you do, make sure you have defense to keep this thing alive, and then just get this -6 going. But I don't really have a good way. You know, like not every planeswalker is amazing, and if you just want to play the planeswalker for the sake of playing a planeswalker, then you can go for it. You definitely obviously need to have a good chunk of non-creature spells. So like the deck has to be more spell heavy than creature heavy. But I have no good advice for this Narset. But if anyone in the comments has a good idea, you're welcome to share it. David, good morning. I was wondering what happened to the modern ban list discussion series. I'm hyped for the Deathrite Shaman episode. No, okay, I will get back to it. I have like infinite ideas that I can utilize for my channel, and yeah, I definitely have like a really long. We definitely have to get through the whole list of cards on the banned list. And Deathrite Shaman is an interesting one because, well, I mean, overall, I think it would be bad. Every deck would play Deathrite Shaman, and you'll get really frustrated just losing to it. Like Deathrite Shaman is a win condition in itself, in addition to ramping, but would be interesting because it would stop all the graveyard shenanigans. Like even today, like Uro wouldn't even be a. Let's get Deathrite Shaman up here. Like Uro wouldn't even be in the discussion today if we had access to Deathrite Shaman in Modern. We would hate some. And truth be told, when Deathrite Shaman is evil, it's not that bad. It's just like a really good value card that you see everywhere. But it's not ultra dominant. And like when it kills you, it's killing you over like the long term. And you definitely get outvalued by this thing, hands down. And it makes and the Deathrite Shaman mirror is really awkward. But like we would not be having these conversations about Uro at all. Maybe not even in Legacy if Deathrite Shaman was still a legal card. But anyway, that's Deathrite Shaman. Probably should not get unbanned. Continue on Mike's removal question. I'm building Teamer Adventures for Modern, and Brazen Borrower and Bone Crusher Giant are synergistic removal pieces with Lucky Clover and Edge Wall Innkeeper. Is the synergy enough to play 4 of? Yeah, hold on. What does Lucky Clover mean? I can't remember. Like, oh, you want to do this for Modern? But are you really a control deck? Okay, hold on. Whenever you cast an adventure, instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. So in a deck like this, if you're building around adventures, you need to play as many adventures that you can. You honestly don't have access to a million of them. So going all in, is the synergy enough to play 4 of? Yes, you need to play. Or you mean 4 of Lucky Clover or 4 of Brazen Bar and Bone Crusher Giant? I think you need to go all in on the other adventure spells if you're going to make any use out of this thing. Simple as that. But if you're not going to go all in on adventure spells, then maybe you can only play something like 2 Lucky Clover if that was what you're asking. Will you make... Oh, I already answered that question. Oh, Pride of the Wolves. Yes, I played 2 leagues. So after the first league, I went for the second league, and the second league was amazing. It was fantastic. So remember, if you're new to Coffee and MTG, if you want your questions answered, do give 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question, or give me at Nikachu MTG. Help me find your questions and comments through the sea of all the other comments. And while we're at it, let us thank our sponsors, starting with themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering, the content site with Commander, Standard, Modern, Pioneer, Historic content. Manabase is your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And I'm trying. There we go. And the Manabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online. So Fusion Gaming Online is my favorite local game store, and they've got a deal. Their deal of the week is save up to 15% off all gaming accessories. Gotta move this logo somewhere else so you can still see my face. So dice, deck boxes, sleeves, and more. You can get up to 15% off all gaming accessories. Check them out at the FusionGamingOnline.com. Remember, it's a Canadian site. Canadian prices. Don't get like caught off because the prices seem high. Do the conversions, you Americans. And we're also going to thank our sponsor, Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. And you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can get 20% off your first 3 months by using my coupon code Nikachu. Mana Traders is the best place to play any deck, any format, anytime by renting with Mana Traders. So yeah, we did 2 leagues in a row, and it was great. I just steamrolled the next 5 people. And also Lord Magicus also got a 5-0. You can find him, Lord Magicus, on YouTube. He's published his 5-0. Did I drop a single game? I can't remember. I definitely dropped a game because there was one match against, well, Breach, through like blue red through the Breach, where they played like a Teferi, classic Teferi. You know, when I say Teferi, people think Teferi Time Raveler or Hero Dominaria. No, this got played against me, and I was like, I'm doomed, and it blocked all my merfolk. Then they anger the gods my board away, even when I had counter spells. Yeah, Mage of Zalafir was back, and better than ever. So Mage of Zalafir was here, and anyway, then they went through the Breach Emrakul, and I was dead. I was dead. That's it. Just not much I can say about that. What criteria is needed for control to play 4 of a card? Maybe a very unique effect that they can't get anywhere else, like Path to Exile, for example. Well, I mean, there are Path to Exiles 5 and 6, like things like Condemn and crap like that, but it might have to be like 4 of a card that they absolutely need, and there's just not enough copies of that card. Like you may not always need 4 of all counter spells because you have so many different types of counter spells that overlap. And of course, you might not want to have 4 of a particular planeswalker because they're drawing through their deck a decent chunk too, and they don't want to have extra copies because then they become liabilities because they're legendary. You can only have 1 copy on the battlefield. But I hear there's a little bit of debate between the 3rd and 4th Teferi just because it's so damn good. Deathrite Shaman is a 1-mana planeswalker. Deathrite Shaman enables too many 3-color plus color soup decks. Just like Arkham's Astrolabe. Just like Arkham's Astrolabe. The soup. Seems like the mana, we know the mana is free. I mean, in Pioneer, the mana is not free at all. Just going to 2 colors is sometimes a real pain in the ass. That's why there's like a lot of mono white, mono black, mono red, mono blue, mono green. But, you know, okay, in Modern, it seems like, and even in Legacy, 3-color decks are acceptable. But once you go to that 4th color boundary, you should be punished. Like, you should be punished hard. And if you're somehow playing a 4-color plus deck and you're not being punished, you're doing something broken. Something needs to get banned here. And that was Deathrite Shaman. You want Arkham's Astrolabe? You're next. You're next. You're gonna get it. I sell merfolk and merfolk accessories. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Bobby. I can't remember if you answered this before, but if you would play a second Modern deck, what would it be? Oh my god, I get this like every week. I give slightly different variations of answers, but I think, you know what? My old answer was Death, like Grixis Death Shadow, or no, not really Grixis. Some sort of Death Shadow deck. My new answer is Eldrazi-Tron. I think I would prefer to play Eldrazi-Tron. It's a tribal deck, and it's like outrageously powerful. Like how could we not try that deck? Is Swords to Plowshares too powerful for not Modern? Probably not. Probably not. Modern is a pretty busted format at this point. It's pretty busted in its own way. Good morning, Cactus. So Vishmok. Serious question: what formats is Astrolabe still legal in for now? Vintage. I think just okay. Well, Vintage, Commander, and Legacy are the only. I mean, let's look it up on. Let's see all the formats Astrolabe is legal in. Legacy, Vintage, Commander. There you go. Banned in Pauper, banned in Modern. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is its first banning. Certainly not going to be its last. It's probably going to be legal in Vintage though. At worst, they'll do. I don't even do they even care in Vintage? Like, you know, Vintage is like a tier of like stupidity that I think they can ignore. They can ignore a card like Arkham's Astrolabe. Hoping for True Name Nemesis for Modern Horizons 2, but like a lot of people are not hoping for this to happen. You know what? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I honestly don't think True Name Nemesis is going to be that big of a deal in Modern. It would make Stoneblade better for sure, because now they have like a really good target for the True Name Nemesis. But truth be told, Modern has so many ways to deal with a True Name Nemesis at this point. You know, they could be up against Tron and they'll just play, you know, the Ugin, wipe the board. All right, nice True Name Nemesis. Good job. Bring it on, Wizards. Keep bringing that crap on. Or even just like Karn the Great Creator, find Ensnaring Bridge, play it. All right. That's a nice True Name you got there. It's got protection from everything. Well, you can't even attack. So like True Name Nemesis is a good card, but the format can adapt to it really well. There's like infinite answers. I mean, it's not even a big deal in Legacy anymore. Who the hell plays True Name? Like, I'm looking at these decks, knowing that the people aren't even playing True Name to the extent that they used to. It's just that when True Name Nemesis first hit Legacy, no one had any removal that could like hit it. When there's tons of it, it's tons of sweepers and stuff like that. And now, like between sweepers and Council's Judgment and just racing and comboing off before you can even attack, you know, True Name Nemesis is not a threat. It's just a feel bad card. That's all it is. It's a feel bad card because you don't like losing to a True Name Nemesis because it feels hopeless, but it's really not a big deal. I would like to see it, though. I don't think we'll get it. I would play it. I think I would play it. Pretty sure I would play it. Yeah, we Plague Engineer. There's a lot of answers. There's because like a lot of people say, "Oh, it's unbeatable." Oh yeah, well, have you looked at Legacy recently? Who's playing True Name Nemesis? Not many people. Because it has been always grossly overrated. It had such an entrance into Legacy when it came out, and it was super OP, and people were really pissed at it. But then the whole format adapted around it, and there's a lot of any Edict effect deals with it. Any like Plague Engineer, Engineered Plague, Sweeper, they all work. Terminus, Supreme Verdict, what's it called? Ugin. It can get raced by a random prowess deck. It's not unbeatable, people. It's not unbeatable. Yeah, Orzhov Pontiff. Although Pontiff is not very popular anymore, but like, you know, if people really needed to beat the card, then they can. It's definitely a beatable card if people want to. Liliana the Veil, if people are still playing Jund or the Rack. Well, people will play Jund. You can guarantee that. There are a lot of people who definitely do not want to let go of their Jund. And you know what's hilarious? There's also, I'm guessing, I got the impression, oh yeah, look, Dead a Winner. Like, there's answers here. Like, True Name Nemesis will see play in Modern, but it will mostly be dead on arrival. Like, it will have one good home in Stoneblade, and that's probably it. Maybe there's some control decks will play as a 2-of. I'm not sure, but it's awkward because it gets in the way of Supreme Verdict. But I genuinely believe True Name Nemesis is fine for Modern. Like, if it's barely and you saw in my latest Legacy videos where I go like 4-1, I don't play with True Name Nemesis because even in Legacy it's like pretty bit awkward right now. Why did the price of Oboro Palace in the Clouds skyrocket so much? Because of landfall. So the reason Oboro was worth money, period, is because of landfall. Like, people love their landfall mechanic on in Commander. So they love the landfall because you can return it back to your hand, replay it, get landfall. So now the new Zendikar set has come out, and landfall is again going to be a thing. And now people are like, hey, what kind of land can I use to get landfall like every turn? Oboro. That's how you can do it. And there's only one printing of Oboro, so there it is. Go for it. What is it now? How much does it cost? $28 US. Well, it's not that Isn't that really that? Well, I guess, yeah, it went up by a decent chunk here. How can I highlight this? It's not giving me a, whatever, 28.77. Oh, it takes me to Magic Card Market. Oh, we can see the history. Nice. Nice. Boom! So it was only, it was, well, you can see where the speculators got in there. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the last moment there was no speculators. Here, let me, you seen it priced at 50? I'm pretty certain, like, here's normal price, then people who are in the know started buying here at, so it went up to 15 euro, and then of course this is the point where the rest of the world learns about landfall and skyrockets to 24 euro. So interesting. What if basic lands were added to the reserve list? I wondered about that. Like, what if they decided, okay, we're not printing any more basic lands. Whatever basic land supply there is in like anywhere, that's it. Probably, it would probably take a really, really long time for basic lands to start moving up in price because there is such a ridiculous abundance of them. But I think what would end up happening is that the nicer arts would end up like raising in some value. They'd go like somewhere between $2 to $5 a piece because everyone knows that there's not going to be any more basic lands. Anyway, it's a fun thing to think about. Yeah, also you can also, it has Oboro Palace in the Clouds has synergy in that you can return it to your hand and then loot it away with Smuggler's Copter. Same thing you can do with Benthic Biomancer. Reality says, how expensive is it to into Magic the Gathering Online so I can play Modern and do some leagues? I mean, depends on the deck that you want to play. So decks can range between like $250 to $850. Like, they can be expensive. And generally speaking, if you want to play a deck with Force and Negation, that's going to cost more money. That's like creeping into the $100 range. I mean, we can quickly. Okay, how about this? While I answer this question, we can get on with deck list review. So if you want your deck list reviewed, you want to take your deck to the next level, please submit it with !deck review space, give the URL space, give comments on like, tell me what format is it, what do you need help against, is it budget, like, let me know your limitations because I will suggest anything. So as people do that, let's go look on MTG Goldfish to see how expensive decks are. And you can go to So, okay, let me show you what I'm doing. I went to mtggoldfish.com. I went to their tab here. Go to decks. Go to metagame. Go to modern. And now we can see the price of these decks in general. But this, I think, is going to be a real life price. You can click on it to see the Magic the Gathering Online price. Is there any way? So, okay, let's say we look at Euro piles. So now it gives us Euro decks are 1,300 in paper, but on average, $864 online. And like these are priced in ticks, but one tick is $1 US. So we look at like Blue Red Blitz, and certainly the decks can be what's it called? The decks can be cheaper if you take out some of the expensive cards. So like here we go. We have paper for is it prowess 400 in paper, only 183 online. And you can also, okay, so you can, like, they show you the paper price. Then you can also click here and you see the online price. And you can see where the weight of all the money is. Soulscar Mage is like $11. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. So this is priced per the playset. Fiery Islet is 39. Yeah, I guess they need Fiery Islet because they need. Well, they have 2 Steam Vents. Everything else is dirt cheap here. So we look at another deck, Lurrus Aggro, which is basically it's Rakdos Prowess. So again, paper $518, online $334. go check online to see where the most expensive cards are. Again, Soulscar Mage is the most expensive card in the stack, because sometimes it's going to be some card that maybe you can dodge. Like, say, let's say you look at the mana base, $63 for Sunbaked Canyon and $36 for Blendstained Mire. And let's say, you know what, you don't want to spend $100 on the mana base. You know, let's say you got $250 on a budget, for a budget. You don't want to spend $334. You could choose to play different like lands instead of the Bloodstained Mire and the Sunbaked Canyons and make it cheaper, because like you can definitely play like a cheaper mana base. You know, it won't be as good as Sunbaked Canyon because like, you know, this thing draws you a card, but it won't be that bad. You'll have a playable deck, you know what I mean? And like the most expensive, like Collective Brutality, if you feel like you don't want to really play that sideboard card, you want to play something else, that can help save you money. So this is when you click on the deck and then go to online, you get a better sense of like what is actually expensive, and you can make a more informed decision. And don't forget, you could also rent online with Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online, and you can choose a tier, and then you can borrow up to a certain amount of ticks there. But like I would say Mana Traders is good if you like to play like a wildly different decks all the time. But if you're dedicated to one deck, you just want to play one deck, then you should just buy into it. That is my impression between Mana Traders and just buying into the deck entirely. Yeah, so smart. Pay $1,200 for a deck, go to local game store, lose in first round after getting flooded. Nice to spend that money. That's magic. That's magic, but you still have $1,200 just in cards. You just exchanged $1,200 in currency for $1,200 in Magic cards. It's just harder to get that $1,200 back. All right, it's time for the deck reviews. I hope that was useful feedback on how to figure out how to get yourself into online. All right, we got Mild Bobby. Sauce's deck list has been chosen, a modern deck I've been working on for years. Gets absolutely stomped by unfair decks, though. You know what, Bobby? You're not the only one. And I've definitely repeated this in the past. You can't beat everything, and if you can't beat unfair decks, you can't beat unfair decks. Can you be a little bit more specific, though? You know, people would consider Tron an unfair deck when really that's like just like a control deck. Some people might consider Uro an unfair deck when that's a control deck. Unfair to me is like Neoform. Blada asks, if you got my deck yesterday, let me know and do a different one. I have no idea. I can't remember. I don't think so. I don't think I did your deck yesterday. Tron is an unfair deck. Yeah, Dredge is unfair. Okay, Hardened. Retribution. Carrion Feeder. Servant of the Scale. Enters ETB with a +1/+1 counter on it. When it dies, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Servant of the Scale. So if this thing gets better, it puts it on other things. It reminds me of, what's it called? That artifact that... the new one on in the Hardened Scales Affinity deck. You might even have it in your deck. You don't have any artifacts, oddly enough. Doesn't remind me of Arc. Oh, yeah, I guess this actually is closer to Arcbound Worker in the green form, right? It's literally our Satamane. Just snaps it off. Yeah, this is just green Arcbound Worker. So Mild Bobby Sauce says basically Tron, combo, and control. It's funny, I named basically everything you said. But you know, like okay, it's fine to lose to one category, which is combo, but control is a completely different category, and it's in the fair range. So you do have to take a stand against one of them. You have Carrion Feeder, Young Wolf. You have some good stuff here. Avatar of the Resolute, Wildborn Preserver, Flash Reach. It's strange that this card has Reach, to be honest. Whenever another non-human creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can pay X. When you do, put X +1/+1 counters on Wildborn Preserver. Drolf's Messenger, and Yawgmoth. I have a feeling you should have more Yawgmoths in this deck, but 2 Unearth, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Dromoka's Command, Profane Command. Choose 2. Target player loses X life or return target creature card with convert mana cost X or less from your graveyard to play, or target creature gets -X until end of turn. What's Unearth again? Convert mana cost 3 or less, you can't get Yawgmoth. A lot of this stuff comes back anyway. Okay, so here's one problem I have with this list instantly. You are not taking a stand with any of the cards that you're playing. Like 1 of Court of Calling, 2 of a Dromoka's Command, 2 Unearth, 2 Abrupt. Okay, Unearth maybe is not good in multiples. I'd love for you to just pick one of these, like have 3 Court of Calling, which is probably a little bit closer to what you want, so you can get Yawgmoth out. I think Yawgmoth is like probably the card you should have 4 of in this deck. Yawgmoth, by the way, very underpriced. What is this? Is the online? Oh, okay. Paper version is much more expensive. You have Hardened Scales in the same deck as move a +1/+1 counter from among creatures you control. Target creature gets -X until end of turn. Oh, is this this is why it's Hardened Retribution? Okay, remove X +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. Target creature gets... So you make counters, then you remove them, kill creatures, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, here's my suggestion. Screw all these cards. Your deck is so creature, like these cards are so creature based. You cannot be playing these spells. And I would fill in all the cracks here. And I would play with as much undying stuff as possible. Or maybe this is everything you can play. This is undying. Like, I know I would... Can you play 3... I mean, Drolf's Messenger is difficult to cast, but it's possible. Swamp. Temple Garden. What's the white for? Like, so, like, for example, like, you have a white for Dromoka's Command. Screw it! You're just a 2-color deck. Don't splash. Don't have such a light splash for this. Strangleroot Geist. Okay, let's go up. We need to go all... If this is your deck, you need to go all in on the synergy, or it's never going to work. So let's even just look up what undying creatures there are. We need to go all in on the synergy if you're going to do this. Oops. Not the card name. Okay, we got the Messenger. Yeah, let's be more specific. We're Golgari, so black, green. I did that right? Okay. This is probably not that good of a creature. Messenger is good. I mean, it's good. And it needs to be reasonably costed. So Strangleroot Geist is fantastic. This might be it. And you got the Young Wolf. Vigilance, Trample, Undying. Two mana, 4/3 creature. When it enters the battlefield from a graveyard, target opponent gains control. When it enters the battlefield from a graveyard, target opponent gains control of it. Oh, so if it dies, it comes back, your opponent takes it. Well, that sucks. I think that's all we need. Okay. So first off, you're going to add Strangleroot Geist to this deck. I would also dump all this garbage. We don't need it. I wouldn't mind... Honestly, I wouldn't mind Court of Calling a little bit just to get your Yawgmoth out. Okay, let's say we strip all this away. We have 9 cards. How much can we fill in the cracks? So we don't... First off, there are some cards like Servant of the Scale which aren't that necessary. It's fine. It's a 1-drop, you know? I don't mind 1-drops. But you already have a lot of 1-drops. You got the Carrion Feeder. You got the Young Wolf. You've got the Hardened Scales. Okay, hold on. What do we not need? I'm not in love with... Okay, we definitely want two more of these. So we have 9 cards, so this is 2. Let's say we go up to 4 of Avatar of the Resolute. That's 3. We have 6 cards left. We play 4 Strangleroot Geist. We have 2 more cards left. I'd fill it up with Yawgmoth. And honestly, the more Undying creatures you have, the way better your deck is going to be against control decks. Straight up like that. Now, for the sideboard, like you got like really, your sideboard is really weak. 3 Fatal Push in your sideboard. This is a main deck card. And if you're not building your, I mean, okay, you have some removal in your deck. And by the way, I could say you could have like up to 4 pieces of removal in this deck. But this is supposed to be your removal, right? Otherwise, scrap this card. But if I understand you're building the deck around this card, so let's build around it. But so you need to maximize on the cards that put +1/+1 counters on your creatures. So anyway, now you said you couldn't beat combo, and you also can't beat control. So choke is in the right direction. Play at least 2 of these. Because if your control opponent taps out to play a Planeswalker and you follow it up with choke, they're dead. Like, they are going to be in so much trouble, especially in the metagame right now where you need to have a lot of islands in play to keep playing with Mystic Sanctuary. Choke is an amazing hoser against those decks. Now, let's also... you need to have Thoughtseize in this deck. So you have a pretty cheap sideboard. I can recommend a powerful sideboard for you, which involves... like, Leyline of the Void is going to be good against the unfair decks that use their graveyard, because we don't want to hurt our graveyard. So Leyline of the Void. Put this card in. So here's Leyline of the Void. When it enters if it's in your opening hand, you can just play it for nothing. And when it's put in the graveyard from anywhere, exile it. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. This is really good against a lot of unfair decks, like Storm. It's going to be good against Storm. It's going to be good against Dredge. Now, again, put choke in. At least 2, maybe 3 if you really want to go hardcore against control decks. You should also play Thoughtseize or some sort of hand disruption. This will be good against... It's always... They say I before E with everything, but there's a lot of exceptions. So Thoughtseize will also help you against unfair combo decks, and it's also going to help you against the control decks. I don't know if you're on a budget or not, but like Mikey J just said, Duress is also fine. It's like a super good budget card. It will be okay. Like, but some sort of hand disruption. You got to slow them down. Your deck doesn't depend as much on what's it called? Your deck does not depend so much on playing a bunch of spells at once. So you might be able to play some Damping Spheres, which will help you against Tron, Eldrazi Tron, and Tron, Eldrazi Tron, and Amulet decks. Were there? Oh, there were some Damping Spheres. Okay, there's 2 Damping Spheres. Forget it. Just keep it as it is. Deep Forest Hermit. This is not worth playing in this deck, that's for sure. 2. Do you want to have Languish? I mean, you can have Languish. It's not bad against creature decks, and your stuff comes back, so I can get behind this card. But is it better than Damnation? I know it's a cheaper card than Damnation. Yeah, think of the word in a different form. Receive, reception, deceive. And so this could be a removal. And then maybe one more thing is just some sort of actual removal spell if you need some fatal pushes or dismember. You're in black, so you have access to a lot of good stuff. You could go down that route. But like I could tell you, if you're having trouble in the control matchups and the combo matchups, because your sideboard is weak. You have a lot of cards that you would see in a main deck, and they're awkward too. Like this is not a sideboard card. Like sideboard cards should be meant to just burn your opponent down, like it really crush them. And none of these cards particularly do that. I can see like some utility card, like you could maybe you could have this in your sideboard. I don't mind actually having some Abrupt Decays for the right matchup. But I think game one, you should lean heavier on your creature plan. A lot more Yawgmoths. And this, if you need removal, this is your removal spell. Get rid of the planes. Get rid of the white. Go straight black-green, and also make sure you have enough black sources that you can cast Geralf's Messenger. This is something I see commonly on these deck reviews. People will splash a whole third color for a like basically mediocre card. This is not that important. Yeah, Abrupt Decay in the sideboard is not that bad. So consider all these sideboard cards that I've mentioned, and whatever number of them you want, go for it. We have Leyline of the Void, and I think that will give you a good sideboard and a much more promising matchup against all the decks you're having trouble against. Hope that was some useful feedback, and let's get on with the next pick. Okay, so hot chocolate, also pretty commonly found in this thing. The Decklist has been chosen. My deck updated. I still lose to fast aggressive decks. Don't we all? Well, you're like, I'm assuming by fast aggressive you still mean Delver. How much did you play since we last talked? Didn't we talk about this like yesterday? Because, okay, hot chocolate, I have a good question for you. Have you played the stock lists? Have you played a stock list before, hot chocolate? You're losing to Delver, Dredge, and Storm. You're welcome, Mild Bobby Sauce. I'm just curious if you have played the stock lists, hot chocolate, before, or you have only played your list before. Because remember, this was a deck that tutored, but like you do have to admit, okay, first off, Dredge is not popular in Legacy, so you can just scrap that matchup. If you lose, like if you lose to that matchup, you lose to that matchup. Storm is more popular, and Delver is very popular, very, very, very popular. I'm just wondering if this list has any more game. They're playing with a tutoring package with Green Sun Zenith. How does that help them? It gives them Ramanap, Excavator, and potentially Wasteland. No, there's no Wasteland in here. Good morning, Mitten Monsters. Like, first off, okay, like you can't beat Dredge. You just can't. Also, you honestly probably can't beat Storm either. I don't think this deck is meant to beat Storm because you're just two ships passing in the night, and Storm is just faster. And that's just how Magic is sometimes. You're just not allowed. Green Sun can grab any. Yes, I understand. Green Sun. Oh, it can grab any creature. No, it grabs only a green creature. It's very important. Because I always thought Natural Order could grab any creature, but it can only grab green creatures. Same thing with Green Sun Zenith. Well, that's what I understand hot chocolate. I might be, because it can grab these. I'm just trying to see what they can grab that's useful, and it might not be anything. Except Allosaurus Shepherd. It does help with that, because if this thing hits the battlefield, your green spells can't be countered anymore. Well, yeah, Ramanap Excavator would be great with Wasteland, but this deck doesn't even play Wasteland. Funny enough. So, like, I would like to give some better feedback against Delver, but honestly, you just have to accept the L against Storm and against Dredge. Like, this deck is not built. Your deck is not built to beat those decks. I mean, you face it and then you're just gonna have to lose. Very similarly, how with Merfolk and Modern, if I was up against Lantern Control, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna lose this match. Hope I go 4-1 in the rest of this league. Now, what really sucks is that you said you still have a bad Delver matchup. Oh, to replay a land because of... Oh, you mean you replay your own lands. Glacial Chasm is my best stall card. Okay, so here, Hot Chocolate, what are the cards in this deck that perform the worst against Delver? That would be our step one. I would start identifying what does not work in this deck against a Delver deck. There's no Maze of Ith in this deck. Has got a lot of lands, but not Maze of Ith. You cannot attack. All damage dealt to you is reduced to 0. So this is I think this is basically the Maze of Ith card. I die before I can even assemble my lands a lot of the time. I think you need a specialist, to be honest. With 12th post to maybe... I'm gonna guess that your matchup is not good, but you might have like a good sideboard plan that could help you. Hold on. So how often does this Leviathan person play 12th post? Only once. How about... Because I'm not seeing any names that are popping up several times. This person plays Titan post, which is not the same. But it's similar, right? You know what my best recommendation is? This person's called Into Space Play. They played this deck as recent. They played a post deck as recently as July. I would try to get in contact with this person. Oh, if the deck doesn't have Thanos, then it's not 12 post. I'm trying to find someone who like plays regularly. Okay, this person plays 12 post a little bit. Because what you need right now is like there's nothing wrong with your deck, probably. The problem is you need someone who can give you like a good strategic advice, like really good specialized strategic advice, and that's the point where you have to start like going out of your way and try to reach out to some people. So this person's named Fist Full of Metal. Are you on Magic the Gathering Online, Hot Chocolate? Do you play on Magic the Gathering Online? Do you use it at all? All right. I would also even though it's 8 post, I would also contact Into Space Play. Like, try to send them a message when they're online. What else? Like, you need... And like I think it's pretty serious because Delver is a very common deck right now, and you can't like I could tell you to scrub off Storm. I can tell you to scrub off Dredge. It's a little difficult to tell you to scrub off Delver, and I bet they're not going to give you like messages that you're probably not going to hear what you want to hear. Also, Tony Murata. Now this is not. Maybe you can find this person on Twitter, maybe. Tony Murata? This is not a Magic the Gathering Online username. This is a real name. Because this is the stage you're in. There's no fixing. You can't fix the matchup, but maybe someone with very deep knowledge can give you the best strategic advice to give yourself the best chance. And I'm gonna guess, like, even with the best advice, you might only be winning between 40 and 45%. But this is where you're at right now. Love to find people that play this deck all the time. Daily tournaments, daily. I think that's about it. So if you want to take your deck to the next level, you need to contact people who are playing this deck very regularly so that they can give you some good feedback. Because this is something I can't do. I mean, I don't play this deck. And frankly speaking, like, the numbers are all good. You've got a good plan. I understand everything, and you want to go 12 post, you go 12 post. I would caution though that, just like how Merfolk sometimes has to go Simic or sometimes it has to go back mono blue, basically, like, Merfolk changes as necessary with the metagame. Be open to the possibility that you might have to go 8 post and go Titan post, basically, to still play a post deck, but still that is going to be to the opinion and advice of any of those people if you can get in contact with them. So I'd highly encourage you to reach out to those people, because those players are playing regularly, they're winning with it, they could give you some really good solid advice. And I can tell you from experience and other people's experience, if you reach out to players, they would be more than happy to talk to you. So add them as a buddy on Magic the Gathering Online, and when they're online, send them a message and see if you can get some conversation going and get their, I don't know, their Twitter handle or something. But that's all I can recommend if you want to help yourself win those matchups, because the deck list is good. The deck list, as far as I can see it, is fine. You need good strategic advice. All right, let's do another one. And good luck with that. Oops. Okay, Magic's deck list has been chosen. A red Scred deck that uses the new Cleansing Wildfire to ramp myself. I've never played this archetype before. Wondering if the card numbers and choices are correct. A red Scred deck that uses the new Cleansing Wildfire. Oh, the new Wildfire. Oh, yeah, the new Wildfire. All right, let's look at this. Mono red ramp. Ramp? Does it really ramp? Is there ramp? Is this the ramp? Mindstone? Okay, 3-season Pyromancer. Love this card, actually. This is such a good card. This was an incredible addition to the modern card pool, because it's like a body with Faithless Looting attached to it and has a lot of value attached to it. It's a really, really strong card. And it doesn't seem to be overwhelmingly good. It seems to be at a really good sweet spot between being Faithless Looting and Lingering Souls. So you can, in the matchups where Blood Moon is bad, you can just dump the thing. Golos. And about, you may search your library for a land card put onto the battlefield tapped. Is that even necessary? Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Chandra, Heart of Fire. Discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library until end of turn. You may play cards exiled this way. That actually sounds pretty strong. But until end of turn, so you tap out, you can't, hold on, you can play cards exiled this way, but you can't play them for free. Chandra, Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target. I think this Planeswalker is garbage. Chandra, Awakening Inferno. Now this one's good, because it's like a sweeper. Spell can't be countered. Get an emblem at the beginning of your upkeep. The emblem deals 1 damage to you. Each opponent gets an emblem with this. So this one's better. This is a very bad Chandra. I would definitely not play this thing. Okay, Relic is fine. Mindstone is fine. 4 Blood Moon. 4 Lightning Bolt. 2 Scred. Cleansing Wildfire. Destroy target land. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card, put onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle the library, draw a card. Shatter Skull Smashing. Deals X damage, divide as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more. Shatter Skull Smashing deals twice X damage, divided as you choose among them instead. Okay, sure. Anger the Gods. You might want more of these. Like, in the matchups where you need, like, mass creature removal, you should have probably Anger... Well, oh, you have this one, right? What is this? Destroy all lands. Destroy all lands? And boom, destroy target land and land you control and target land you don't control. This is also a good card. Cascading Cataracts, Darksteel Citadel. Does it say destroy? Destroy target land. So the idea is you play like Darksteel Citadel, turn 2, boom, and you don't lose your card, right? Okay, you got to sell me on this. What the hell's the point of this card? What's the point of Golos? It's a 5 mana 3/5 creature in this deck. Why? 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 What does it do? I don't get it. You get the Cascading Cataracts, add 5 mana combination of colors to your mana pool, and then you can play exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. I don't like it. Like I don't like it. It seems like a weak win condition. It's too long. Honestly, I would rather you had Glorybringer in the slot or something. Like I wish it was you were a little bit more proactive. Okay, you can exile the top 3. If you're at let me put it this way. If you have 5 mana in play and then you play Golos, and then you can spend the next turn tapping mana. It feels too win more to me. It's too cute. It's just way too cute. And here's the thing. There are so many good utility lands in Modern that I imagine there is something way better than Cascading Cataracts. Like, even any of the red deserts are probably better than this. There's got to be, like, better lands. And another thing, you have very few lands in this deck. You have 20 lands. That feels low. That feels low, especially since you want to play with Boom and Bust. I think you have to go up to at least 2 more. I think you need to go up to 2 more lands. I would cut the Golos. I would cut... Shatter Skull Smashing deals X damage, divides as you choose among 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. But X is not... You know what? I don't know if I want to depend on this card anymore because you have so little mana. And like if you want to hit the top of your curve, you need more mana in this deck for sure. Like Mindstone is not going to carry you. 4 Mindstone and 20 lands, that'll get you to 3 mana. And then you're going to be like ruined from there. So you know what? I would scrap this card and play more Anger of the Gods. I might scrap this card, play more Anger of the Gods and more lands. Go up to 23, 24 lands. And by the way, you can play Horizon lands in place of some of these lands if you're scared of flooding out or something like that. It's a free roll. Oh, wait a minute. This is a land. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, this is one of the new lands. Okay, good stuff. Okay, we actually have enough mana sources. You are correct. You are free rolling it. This is a great idea. I take it all back. Okay, so you have no problem with your mana base anymore. I got to get used to these new... It's screwing me up. It says 20 lands here, but this is not a 20 land deck. This is actually a 24 land deck with 4 Mindstone. Oh, don't be nice, Dark Magic Life. Where's my mods? Okay, so this is about it. So this is cute. Is there any better Planeswalker than Chandra, Heart of Fire? This is not a good one. All right, I'm going to have to do things myself. Oops. How do I deal with people? It's funny. I'm trying to deal with the chat, but I can't. Hold on. How do I ban people? Stupid idiots. Look, Dark Magic Life, you're a moron. Here we go. There we go. You're gone. And he's gone. Well done. Okay, so I'm moving on. Okay, so I'm only going to criticize your win conditions. Golos and this Chandra Heart of Fire could be better. Kyoka 620, did this guy lose to you yesterday? Probably. I don't know. Oh, the spamming spamming crap. So anyway, what's going on here? We got... Okay, we need a better win condition than these things. I don't really like them at all. By the way, I do what I really like in decks. Like, I really like Glorybringer. I might be wrong. Maybe you do want more Planeswalkers. You could have these as like win conditions, but I find them to be pretty weak win conditions. This one is very good, and I don't mind you having 4 of them. By the way, I would prefer that you have 4 Seasoned Pyromancer, because this is a win condition in itself, and it can help dig for more win conditions. So 1 less Golos, 1 more Seasoned Pyromancer. Ramble Master is like okay. Simian Spirit Guide is better if you're playing with Chalice of the Void, which is not the case. Although I would have to say that you're playing with you are playing with 4 Screds, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 1 Relic, Shattering Spree, Scred, Eidolon of the Great Revel. Is that a card you want? Is that a card that's played in these decks? Sorcerer's Spyglass, Anger of the Gods, Hazoret. I could get behind Hazoret in the main deck. Hazoret is great. That could be a main deck card. I think that's better than Chandra Heart of Fire. This is a pretty good attacker and can deal a lot of damage. Hazoret's a fantastic card. Very underrated. Actually, Wormcoil Engine is not bad. It's just like a random big creature that deals a lot of damage and also gains a lot of life. Like, this is just for 5 mana, this is just not enough in my opinion. But okay, I will leave it at this. Definitely get rid of the Golos, add the 4th Season Pyromancer. Darksteel Citadel, that's fine. You actually should have this as a red card. You know what? Just having 12 Snow-Covered Mountains is enough in general to cast your double red spells, but you'd probably want to be on the safe side and have 16 red. Oh no, hold on, you do have 16 red, forget it. You do. I keep forgetting about this stupid card. So that exists. And then, evaluate your win conditions. If Chandra Heart of Fire is enough to win, I guess keep it, but I just don't see it. I don't see it that way. I can't remember what this one deals. 3. Each opponent gets the emblem. It does add up. How is Cataract's additional citadels? Darksteel Citadel is indestructible. If you go boom and destroy your own Darksteel Citadel, it doesn't go away. But this is not indestructible. Well, you can blow them up with Shattering Spree. Darksteel Citadel is indestructible. Oh, this one is indestructible. Oh, I see. It is indestructible. That is bizarre. It doesn't look like it is indestructible. Okay. It's in. We're keeping the Cascading Cataracts. It's a bizarre include. I wish you had more boom and busts for this interaction. I think you're cutting away I think you're cutting away a very good utility land for this indestructible land, honestly. You're cutting away, like, there you have a lot of good options for red. And you're throwing it away for this Cascading Cataracts. You only have 2 boom and bust in your deck anyway. It's not even a lot. Scream on a Redtron with Banefire. Maybe. Your question was about your numbers. Your numbers are good. Your numbers are good. I just want to change your win conditions. What Chandra is good for is that she's a pretty good win condition by herself, and she's good removal, and she's cheap. She costs 4 mana. This is 5 mana. This doesn't kill so many creatures. Also, I just don't even think it really does all that much. I might be wrong. I have not played with this card. But I think it's like a card that on an empty board is very good, but on a board full of creatures is really crappy. Is Wildfire targeting your own lands or opponent's lands? Wildfire is whatever target land you want. You can target your own. So I guess you could ramp yourself with this. Cleansing Wildfire, your Cascading Cataracts, and then you may search your library for a land card, put onto the battlefield tapped, and draw a card. So you can actually target your own lands. My own lands, if Blood Moon isn't out, my opponent's basics if Blood Moon is out. How much have you played with this deck? I'm just curious. Only a few games on Cockatrice since Wildfire. Oh yeah, that's true. We don't, and also Shatter Skull Smashing isn't out yet. Okay, well, add another Seasoned Pyromancer. I think this card's gas. I think Golos is a one of, is a none of in this list. Not worth it. Play the Planeswalkers. But if this really is underperforming, switch it for something else. It's as simple as that. You just switch it for something else. Hopefully Seasoned Pyromancer can win by itself. I don't know if it can. But hopefully it does. But anyway, it's a cool deck. And I think it's a nice addition or evolution of the classic Scred Red decks. And I think this deck can do totally fine. So anyway, I hope that was useful feedback, but we're only we really have to wait until all the cards get released, and then you'll get a better idea when you start playing against other decks that have also got cards released to make it work. Oh, you want to see Salud? Salud's on my backpack. Salud loves the backpack. Oh! Finish the stream off with Salud. Salud. And if anyone can help suggest someone to raid, give me your suggestions in the chat, and I guess we'll raid them before the stream is over. Saru. Saru. Good morning. Good morning, Saru. Good morning. Saru. Okay, go back to sleep. Sure, that's what you want. Today, Basic Landshark is on Simic. Sounds good. Busy playing. Sweet. I think we can go raid them. All right. So with that, we have some great conversation today, and I had a lot of fun, and I hope everyone else had a lot of fun too. So this has been Nikachu, Merfolk Master for Coffee and MTG, and I will see you at the next Brood Cup. Take care and enjoy Basic Landshark. See you next time.